Hello everyone, this is me Deboshmita Sarkar. Today we are going to discuss about our changing earth. This is the part 1 video. The lithosphere is broken into a number of plates known as the lithospheric plates. You will be surprised to know that these plates move around very slowly, just a few millimeters each year, and this is because the movement of the earth of the molten magma inside the earth. The molten magma inside the earth moves in a circular manner as shown in the activity. So the lithosphere is the sphere which is full of rocks, is broken into a number of plates. Those plates are known as lithospheric plates, and these plates move around very slowly, only a few millimeters each year, and the reason behind this is because of the movement of molten magma inside the earth. The molten magma inside the earth moves in a circular manner as shown in the activity. The activity is over here. Take a small colored paper pellet and put in a half filled beaker, half filled with water beaker. So here paper pellet means when we scramble a paper into a ball, that ball is known as the paper pellet. Place the beaker on a tripod stand and heat it. As the water warms up, you will observe that the paper pellet is moving upward along with the warm layers of water and then sinks back along with the cooler layers of water. The molten magma inside the earth moves in a similar manner. The movement of these plates causes changes on the surface. The earth movements are divided on the basis of the force which caused them. The forces which acts in the interior of the earth are called endogenic forces, and the force that acts on the surface of the earth are known as the exogenic force. So here is a small mind map or a small table which consists of the earth movements. So the earth movement is divided into two forces, which is endogenic and exogenic forces. And endogenic is further divided into two types of forces, which is sudden forces and disastrophical forces. And these two forces are further divided into sub topics, which is on sudden forces. Sudden forces include earthquake, volcano and landslide, and disastrophic forces include building mountains. Then exogenic forces is divided into erosional and depositional. Then erosion and deposition is further divided into four types, which is river, wind, sea waves and glaciers. The endogenic force sometimes produce sudden movements and at the other time produce slow movement. Sudden movements like earthquake and volcano cause mass destruction over the surface of the earth. Here is a small glossary which consists of the definition of lithospheric plates. The earth's crust consists of several large and some small rigid irregular shaped plates, which is also known as the slabs, and these slabs carries continents and the ocean floors. Now we will talk about the volcano. A volcano is a vent opening in the earth's crust through which molten magma or molten materials erupt suddenly. Similarly, when the lithospheric plates move, the surface of the earth vibrates. The vibration can travel all around the earth. These vibrations are known as earthquakes. The place in the crust where the movement starts is the focus, and the place on the surface above the focus is the epicenter. So we have seen that earthquake is a type of endogenic force which can cause a mass destruction over the earth's surface. This earthquake occurs when the lithospheric plates move and a vibration takes place. Those vibrations are the earthquakes. The place where the vibrations or the earthquake start is the focus, and above the focus is the epicenter. Vibration travel outwards or from the epicenter as waves. Greatest damage is usually closest to the epicenter, and the strength of the earthquake decreases away from the center. Here's a small diagram of volcano. See the gases. These are the ashes and gases. The place where these ashes and gases coming out is the crater. Then we have the vent, which is allowing the lava. These are the lava to come out. The lava is stored in the magma chamber. The magma chamber is the place between the crust and the mantle. Now we will know about here is the diagram of origin of an earthquake. This is the plate boundary. This is the epicenter. These are the seismic waves radiate out in all directions. These are the seismic waves which is radiating out in all directions. And this is the focus where the earthquake occur, and it is the origin of seismic energy. Do you know that there are three types of earthquake waves? First is the P waves or the longitudinal waves. Then is the S waves or the transverse waves. Then we have the L waves or the surface waves. Although earthquakes cannot be predicted, the impact can certainly minimized if we are prepared beforehand. Some common earthquake prediction methods are adopted locally by people who lives in the earthquake prone area. These earthquake predictions include studying animal behavior. Fishes in the pond get agitated and snakes come out on the surface. But this prediction may get wrong. Here is a picture of a destruction that is caused by an earthquake in Gujarat. Now we will know about the case study. An earthquake hits Bhuj. A massive earthquake measuring 6.9 on Richter scale hits Bhuj on 26 January 2001. The school were worst affected because at least 971 students and 31 teachers were feared to have lost their lives, which follows the collapse of school buildings. Then the Bhuj relief effort were blighted. 3 days after the quake, concern rose about food, blankets and medical supplies not reaching everyone. Then the destruction of Bhuj, which include phone lines, water pipelines and power station and transmission lines were knocked out. Then there were fire in the city. Hundreds of fires started as charcoal cookers were overtuned. An emergency were declared in quake zone. The president declares a state of emergency. CMs appeal to the center. Gujarat appeals for financial help. The chief minister of Gujarat has launched an appeal for the center to deal with the disaster. Do you know that the earthquake is measured with a machine called seismograph? The magnitude of the earthquake is measured on the Richter scale. An earthquake that of 2.0 or less can be felt only a little. An earthquake of over 5.0 can cause damage from things falling, and a 6.0 or a higher magnitude is considered very strong, and 7.0 is classified as a major earthquake. This is a picture of a seismograph. Earthquake prediction. Where to take shelter during an earthquake. Safe spots are under a kitchen counter, table or desk, and against an inside corner or wall. We have to stay away from fireplaces, areas around chimneys, windows that shutter, including mirrors and picture frames. And we have to be prepared and spread awareness amongst your friends and family members and face any disaster confidently. Now we will move on to the next page, which consists of the major landforms. The landform is being continuously worn away by two processes, which is weathering and erosion. Weathering is the breaking up of rocks on the earth's surface, and erosion is wearing away of the landscape by different agents like water, wind and ice. The eroded material is carried away or transported by wind, water, etc. and eventually deposited. This process of erosion and deposition creates different landforms on the surface of the earth. Work of a river. The running water in the river erodes the landscape. When the river tumbles at steep angle over every hard work or down a steep valley side, it forms a waterfall. So how is a waterfall formed? It is formed from the running water in the river gets eroded in the landscape. When the river tumbles at steep angle over very hard rocks or down a steep valley, then it forms a waterfall. So this is the formation. This is how a waterfall is formed. Then we have the paths of the river. A river has many paths. We have to know that. So let's know it. As the river enters the plain, it twists and turns, forming large bends known as meanders. So these are the meanders because these are the large bends. Okay. Due to continuous erosion and deposition along the sides of the meander, the ends of the meander loop come closure and closure. In due course of time, the meander loop cuts off and form the river and forms a cut-off lake, which is also known as the Oxbow Lake. At times, the river overflows its bank. This leads to a flooding of neighboring areas. As it floods, it deposits a fine layer of soil and other materials called sediments along its branches. This leads to the formation of a flat fertile, which is the floodplain. The raised banks are the leaves. As the river approaches the sea, the speed of the flowing water decreases and the river begins to break up into a number of streams known as distributaries. The river becomes so slow that it begins to deposit its load. Each distributary forms its own mouth. The collection of sediments from all the mouths form a delta. So here we have got a diagram of it. This is a picture of a floodplain. These are the leaves. These are the meanders, and this is the cut-off lake, which is also known as the Oxbow Lake. Then this is the main river, and this main river is then broken up into number of streams, which are the distributaries. And this is the picture, this is the diagram of a delta. Now we will know about the work of sea waves. The erosion and deposition of the sea waves gives rise to coastal landforms. Sea waves continuously strike at the rocks. Cracks develop. Over time they become larger and wider. Thus hollow-like caves are formed and on the rock. These are the sea caves. As these cavities become bigger and bigger, only the roof of the caves remain, thus forming sea arcs. Further erosion are left. These walls-like features are known as the stacks. The steep rocky coast rising almost vertically over the sea is the sea cliff. The sea waves deposit sediments along the shores, forming beaches. Now we'll know about the work of ice. Glaciers are also referred as river of ice, which do erode landscape by bulldozing soil and stones to expose the solid rock below. Glaciers are carved out. Glaciers are carved out deep hollows then. As the ice melts, they get filled up with water and become beautiful lakes in the mountain. The material, that are carried by the glaciers, such as rocks, big and small, sand and slate, gets deposited, and these deposits are the glacial moraines. Now we'll know about the work of wind. Have you ever visited a desert? Try to collect some picture of sand dunes. An active agent of erosion and deposition in the desert is the wind. In deserts, you can see rocks in the shape of a mushroom, commonly known as mushroom rocks. Wind erodes the lower section of the rock more than the upper part. Therefore, such rocks have narrow base and wider top. When the wind blows, it lifts and transports sand from one place to another. When it stops blowing, and sand gets deposited in lower hills like structures which are known as the sand dunes. When the grain sands are fine and light, the wind then carry it over very long distance. Such sands are deposited in large areas known as the loess. These large deposits of loess is found in China. So with this we came to the last page of this chapter. Thank you. Please do like, share and subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to comment in the comment section below. Bye bye. Stay home and stay safe.